Urban Therapy with Sun752, and this your daily go getimism number 468 for January 14th, 2015. 2016. I can do it. I can do it. I know I can do it. So, here's the situation. Sometimes we'll come across people in our lives that, for whatever reason, act crazy. Not just regular crazy, but run around committing crimes. They may be violent. They may just act in a certain kind of way that goes against the good part of their character. Like, you know, from dealing with this person that they have a lot of good in them. You know that they might be an emotional person. You know that there's a lot of good deep down inside of them, and probably right there on the surface. But maybe they've been through so much crazy shit in their lives that they just every now and then snap out and do something wild, and it's normally of a ruthless nature, and you wonder why. And then you find out that the way that they feel about it, and normally you find out about this after you get a chance to sit down with them after they've done something really, really crazy. It might be after they came home from jail. It might be, after you bailed them out. It might be after you had to go get them from somewhere because they really got in a lot of trouble and you were the only one that would or could get them out of that situation for the moment. And they'll tell you, like, I don't really know why I do the things that I do, but I do know this. I basically raised myself. Ain't nobody look after me. Ain't nobody care about me. Like, didn't nobody ever really show any interest in me. And sometimes when people are telling you this, it might raise your eyebrows because you're thinking, like, I'm here listening to you. Don't you realize that I care about you? But you may have come along too late, or certain things may have gone on when they weren't under your watchful eye. Sometimes while we're living our own lives, we're trying to make it happen, and we expecting other people to live their own lives and make it happen for themselves. Sometimes people are left to their own devices. Now let me clarify this. I'm only talking about the people who have legitimate claims of nobody taking an interest in them. Because one thing that we need to understand is that if you take it all the way back to a childhood, most children would do a lot better if they had an influential adult in their lives to find out what their strengths and weaknesses are and play to those strengths and weaknesses. Shore up the weaknesses, make them stronger in those areas, and where they're strong, to get them in and put them in positions where they can really shine and show those strengths. That's what we should all have. But we know that although we may all be quote unquote born equal, created equal, the way that we are raised and reared is not equal. Not saying that one is better than the other, but sometimes people get what they need and what they require, and other people don't get what they need and they require. So the people who don't get what they need and they require, they have to try to get it in other ways. And if they can't even find those ways because they've never had a chance to be able to find themselves because they had to raise themselves or just concentrate on just their survival, they may have to employ some tactics like an animal, sort of. I'm not saying that anybody's like a gorilla or a stray cat or whatever, but when you think about, let's take a stray cat. When you see them out in the street, one thing about cats is that they're very independent. Even if they don't have an owner, so they never get a chance to become a house cat, they will learn how to cross the street. They will learn how to feed themselves. They will learn how to hunt. Their animal-like instincts are like that of a lion in the jungle. And human beings are just like that because we have intelligence. So we learn a lot by trial and error. We become hunters. And unfortunately, because we have to concentrate on our survival at all times, other people out there become the hunted. And that's what happens when people don't get the things that they require when they're growing up and they're left to their own devices. Sometimes the streets will swallow them up. And sometimes, if they get through all of that, then they'll evolve and become something great. That's a lot different than the person who got everything that they wanted when they were growing up material wise. So they got all of the video game consoles, the Air Jordans, the you know the jackets, the shirts, the pants, and all of that stuff. They got all of those material things, but they didn't get the one thing that they, well, I'm not even gonna say the one thing. They didn't get the things that they really needed in order to propel them in life, and that's guidance, discipline, integrity, patience. You know, the things that define you as a person, and those things that attract people to you, because that those things make you a complete person. That's different, because those people did have somebody to look after them. They did have somebody to care about them. But because they didn't get certain things that they wanted when they wanted them, and those are material things, they feel like it's okay for them to act a fool or to take from other people. It's serious. And I don't mean serious in a good way. That's bad. It's terrible. But that's what we're working with out here. So we have to learn how to separate the two. You know, the have-nots who really didn't have anything, and the had but didn't have enough. And that's still different from people that are just spoiled brats. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and just remember, you know, when we have children of our own, whether they are our children or whether they are nieces and nephews, foster children, whatever, it's important that everybody gets off to a good start. And if we're in a position to put them in that in that good start, then we have an obligation to do so. And that's just coming from the heart. You know, we can do this. There's no reason why we should be surprised that, you know, all of this craziness that we see going on in the news or on the internet or word of mouth and all of that. We ain't got it. We shouldn't be seeing all of that. All of those things are a product of their environment, a product of bad upbringing, a product of neglect or bad teaching. We can do better than that. And I'll tell you how we can do. One of the ways we can do better than that, the Mind Right and Body Better Fitness Program. Even though this is for adults, we allow kids to come through. Diet and exercise is hard to argue that they could ever go wrong. So we try to get a lot of that. And we want to eat right. But that's part of the diet part. The McVeigh Recreational Center, every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 400 East Ontario Street. Right there on the corner of D Street and Ontario Street. Come through. Come through, get with a community that cares about you, where we try to correct the problems that we may have grown up with all of our lives. It's never too late, man. It ain't never too late. And even if you don't participate physically with the Mind Right and Body Better Fitness Program, watch the videos, do the exercises, follow the meal plans, the game plan, everything. Because it can only help. Know that somebody cares about you. You know what I mean? I'm going to holler back at y'all. Do them leg lifts, baby.